Hello, welcome back to another video. Aliens 2026 Exposed. My child, come and sit. I will teach you. Jesus vibes. These are the kind of things that pop up on my YouTube feed. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. What pops up on your feed? Anything like that? Anything interesting? Anything unusual? YouTube's become kind of weird recently. At least my YouTube has. It seems to constantly and consistently recommend the exact same videos every time I refresh. Basically forcing me to click them and watch them just so that they go away. YouTube never used to do that, but now it does. What's that all about? Anyway, it's currently 10:52 a.m. on the 11th of April 2026, and I am getting ready to go out. I've just finished exporting all the footage from my previous video, and now I'm thinking I'm ready to go out and about for a bit. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Where I'm going to go, I don't know, but I do know that I am going to go. I'm currently trying to get out much more often. That is my current goal. So that's what I'm doing. It's a little bit cooler today. There's a few more clouds. It's a little bit less sunshine. It's definitely not what I would say. It's definitely not what I would call warm. In fact, it is a little bit chilly, which is why I put a hoodie on. So I'm going to take a walk with no particular place in mind as to where I'm going, but simply just to see how far can I go. Just for the sake of really testing the limits of my ability. Can I go further than I've ever been before? Is it possible? Is it probable? Is it doable? These are all questions that I hope to answer. These are all questions that I will answer. Right now. Today. I'm not going to bang on again about exercise. If you want to see me talking about exercise, go watch my last 3 videos. Spent nearly the entire video talking about exercise. Right now, what I'm really trying to do is face my fears and change up my patterns or habits of behaviour into doing something that feels more productive, more active. And that means walking and working. Both combined. Walking and working as much as I possibly can. Much more often than I have been doing. I would like to double productivity, if not triple, quadruple, or even more. Ultimately, the goal is to be working all day, every day, 7 days a week, from the start of the day to the end of the day. If I'm awake, I'm working, I'm walking. And that is now the new normal. At least for me, right now. Obviously, just for me. I'm not talking about anybody else, just me. Very strange woman. Just walked past her and she just goes like this. Don't know what's wrong with her. She's a bit weird. Just waiting for him to leave. Waiting for him to walk away. Don't be so silly as to get into a conversation. Just walk off. Go away. Yeah, keep going. I don't know why, but lots of people think it's appropriate to either to comment on somebody who's just making a YouTube video. I don't really get it. Anyway, where was I? I was saying that I would like to be constantly, from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, working as much as I possibly can. And right now, for me, working means walking. It also means making YouTube videos, but I've already been doing that for such a long time. Anyway, that kind of goes without saying. However, what I've not been doing a lot of for a while is going out, walking long distances, exerting some physical exercise, at least, well, I mean, a lot more than I have been doing previously. That's what I really need to do. I need to make more YouTube videos whilst being out, being about, and staying active, not just being inside, talking to the camera, being outside and walking long distances. I don't know exactly how long, can't really say. I'm not really measuring the distance, but maybe I will do at some point in the future. I don't know. It would be worthwhile knowing exactly how far I'm actually going in terms of like miles and meters and everything like that.
Don't book me. I'll put you on camera.
Yeah, I'm on camera, yeah. So that might be something that I could start to actually measure at some point. I don't know exactly how. I guess Google Maps is one way of doing it. That just requires putting in a starting destination, I think. Starting destination, then seeing the end destination, wherever that would be, and then measuring the distance from one to the other. Obviously, it sounds pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. But it's one thing that I could start to do. I could start to keep note of exactly how many sort of miles I do a day, or how many meters I do a day, or whatever, you know, something like that. So yeah, maybe that's exactly what I should do. I should go now, I guess, pretty much in a straight line for as long as I can, and then turn around and come back. You know what, it'd be good if there was an app that would sort of like measure the distance, how long you go. I'm sure that there probably is an app that measures the distance of how long you go. I don't know what that is though. If anyone knows what that is, please let me know, because I would like to use it, possibly. Probably, definitely. Yeah, I would actually. I'm not really sure what the point would be of actually tallying up the length or the distances that I go during a day. Apart from, I guess, to sort of compete with myself. Like if I look at my, you know, record of how long I've gone in terms of distance, I could say well, did I go? Well, you could say exactly how far you went in miles, or in meters, or in kilometers, or whatever. And then I could say, okay, you know, this week, my best distance that I've done is like 4 kilometers or something, I don't know, in a day. And then I could say, okay, well, that's my record high. I'm going to try and beat that, see if I can go further. Or you could take like the weekly average, not the weekly average, but the weekly total, like the full distance travelled in a week, add it all up together, and then compare and contrast on a weekly basis. How far do you go? And then compete with yourself to try and improve your ability to go distances. Not really competing with anybody else, but just competing with yourself. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do all of this. My dad at one point gave me a watch thing that you can wear. Oh yeah, I think it's called a Fitbit. He gave me a Fitbit. I never really tried it, but I do think that this is basically exactly what it does. But I don't know. I'm thinking that I could just do this manually, do it myself, 100%, and that would just mean what I was saying before. It's just like look at Google Maps, put in the starting location, I guess figure out the ending location, but then I'd have to do like pretty much like a straight line all the way there and then turn around and go back, instead of being able to do all sorts of routes around all over the place. You know what I should definitely do when I get home is Google all these ideas of what I'm currently saying, figure out if there's a device that will actually track all of this stuff for me, compile all this information for me, so I don't have to do it myself. However, I do kind of want to do it myself, just out of pure curiosity, just to see what that's like. So maybe I will. We'll see. I'll give it a go. I'll have to wait until I get home, basically, and then I can start to try and figure out exactly how far I went. You know what, I think I'm going to do it now actually. Where I get up to here, I'm just coming up to a roundabout. So at that point, I think I'm going to turn around, go straight back, and then get back to the house, open up Google Maps, and then have a look at how far that distance is that I've just gone. How far is the distance there, which will be the same as the distance back. So the distance there but doubled, that would be the full distance. I think that's a good idea. So that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go do that now. And then what I should actually do, I guess, is rifle through my stuff and see if I can actually find the Fitbit that I was given. It was like a few years ago now, but I never touched it, I never even opened it. Don't know if I still have it, might not. But I can always get another one if it seems like a good idea. So yeah, now I've just got to do the exact same distance back as I just did there. And I'm going to do literally the exact same walk, no difference. I just took an absolute straight line, one road, all the way. Didn't do any sort of, turns off that one road at any point. Just stuck to one road. So what I can really go do now is figure out basically how long is that road? How long have I just gone? And then I guess I could start to figure out like how fast am I going? I guess that's another part of what the Fitbit would probably do. Tracks your speed and keeps a record of your distance. And then I guess tallies those up so you can see all that information over time. See whether you're improving or not. I guess there'd probably be quite a lot of fluctuation. Like you'd probably improve sort of for a while, then you sort of probably go back down again. Probably go up and down like that because it's pretty natural to feel not quite so enthusiastic about exercising for some period of time, and then to once again become quite enthusiastic about doing it. So if you looked at your chart, it's probably going to be like going like that kind of thing. Some people are like so weird just because there's a camera. Like the guy just walked past before. I'm not pointing the camera at him, I'm just pointing the camera at me. But he's like, "Are you recording?" I was like, "Yeah." "Well, don't record me." And he's like hiding his face to me, thinking it's funny. I was like, "Alright, bye." I wasn't recording him anyway. I'm not recording anybody. I'm not walking around recording people. I'm just recording me. That's it. Okay, so the plan is I've got a few things to do now. Heading back to the house. And the few things that I'm going to do are, first of all, I think I'm going to put another pan of food on the stove. I've eaten up everything that I cooked from yesterday, so I'm going to make another pan of food for today. Not sure exactly what I'm going to use in that. The base is most definitely going to be rice, and then it's going to be whatever I've got on the shelf. Got a whole mixture of different things. I'll get paid in about 3 days, fingers crossed, with a little luck, and then that'll mean I'll be able to get some more fresh food, I guess, and slash or stock up on alcohol, beers or whiskey or wine or something like that, and then also possibly stock up on some more like shelved produce, cans of food, tins of food, something like that, because while I still have got quite a decent amount left, it is starting to run out and look a little bit more on the thin side than it has been doing previously, because I've eaten a lot of it. But I've still got loads of rice, and so all I would really have to order is a whole bunch of tin stuff just to see me through again, so that if and when I go back down to zero, having no money again, then I've still got food on the shelves. That is long life food. that I can use if and when I can't afford to go to the shop and buy some fresh produce. Obviously I will be able to buy fresh produce, like I said, in about 2 days, but I'm aware of how the money sort of lasts throughout the month. It doesn't always last a super long time. It can sometimes run out quite quickly. So it is best to spend some of the money when it first comes in on long-lasting food supplies, so that there's something there on the shelves if I do run out of money and then have to rely on food that I have in the house. If worst comes to worst, then I can always go to a food bank of some kind, of which there are many around, and ask them for some food. I don't really like to do that unless I really have to. Obviously, I don't really do it unless I really have to. I don't really do it just for the sake of it. But if I have to, I will do that, and I can do that. And that's no big deal. So, I don't really worry about that kind of thing anymore, ever. I've already sort of figured out exactly what to do to make sure that it's always okay. Anyway, what I was saying was, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Cook up a pan of food. Second thing I'm going to do is see how long that distance is, and then try and figure out exactly how far I've just walked, so I can take a note of that and start to sort of tally up how far I've gone, how often, etc, etc. That's part of what I'd now like to do, is track and trace a little bit more carefully exactly what I have been doing, and so that I can see, so that I have something to talk about. Then I can tell people things like, I walked 27 miles last week, and I can ask them, how many miles did you walk last week? And see if they know the answer. I'd imagine a lot of people don't really know the answer to questions like that, but I'd imagine there's definitely people that definitely do. Kind of people who've been thinking like what I'm thinking now, which is starting to take an interest in what is actually going on. Okay, so first things first, let's put together a pan of food. Here is the pan. Now I've got to fill it up with a load of water. That'll do. Stick that on the heat at a 7. Then chuck a few handfuls of rice in. We'll do 4 handfuls of rice and a bit of salt. Then go and grab a stock cube, one of these. Can you see it? No stock cube. Then, good technique for the stock cube is try to crumble it up as much as possible before dropping it in, so that it dissolves nicely into the water as it boils, and you don't get big chunks of stock. Okay, so that pan is on and starting to cook. Very good. Now I'm going to try and figure out how far I walked before. Okay, so that walk I just did was 0.9 miles. So what I'm going to do is make a note of that. Saturday the 11th, I did 0.9 miles times 2. So that's 1.8 miles. That's basically all I'm going to do, is keep track of exactly how far I go and when. Next time I go out, I think I'll do that exact journey again, but I will also add on to it the rest of the road that comes after the journey that I just did, which by the looks of it should pretty much double or triple, I'd say triple the distance. So I could do, I've got one walk now that I know is 1.8 miles. And then I guess I would have another walk that would be around about, well, okay, we could figure out exactly how long it is actually. Let's figure that out. And I could do a walk that's 2.1 miles. So that would be 4.2 miles in total. The whole time that I'm talking about this, I'm trying not to share the exact details of where I live. So I'm having to think about that. But yeah, that sounds like a pretty good walk. 4.2 miles. I could just do that walk, that exact walk, like what, 10 times a day? And then I'm walking 40 miles a day. If I get to the point where I'm walking 40 miles a day, I'll be pretty proud of myself. That would be a great achievement to be able to say that I can do that. However, it's not going to be easy, I imagine, to get to that point. And I should start off thinking a little bit more realistically about how much I'm going to be able to do. But you know what? Today, my goal is going to be, as soon as this food is cooked, I'm going to head back out again, and I'm going to try and go the full length of that walk, which is 2.1 miles, there and back. So that would add on another 4.2 miles to my daily walking. Sounds like a good idea to me. I spent quite a while before waiting for my footage from my last video to come off my camera and to go onto my computer. So I'm now going to take that footage, drop that into CapCut and review that video before uploading that to my YouTube channel. Okay, so the rice is cooking up pretty nicely. Just taking it off the heat. Got this corned beef chopped up. So I'm going to chuck that in to the pan. And then I think I'm going to add, again, some chopped tomatoes. We'll see what we've got else on the shelf that could go in to the pan to mix up. Got baked beans, mushy peas, bacon grill, 2 bacon grills, some peas. Down here we've got tuna, chicken breast, cured lean ham, beans and sausages, lentils, chicken curry. Okay, definitely going to go for 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. I think we'll go for 1 tin of baked beans as well, just to add a little bit more flavour and a bit more substance. So, tin of chopped tomatoes. What are these chopped tomatoes? Napolina Dal 1965 chopped tomatoes in a rich tomato juice. Prodotto Italiano, 100% Italian tomatoes. Italian, beautiful. Oops. Chuck those in. Next, Heinz beans ESTD 1869 from a multi-pack in a rich tomato sauce. 1 of your 5 a day. Okay. We'll chuck in 1 tin of beans. So in here now we've got 4 handfuls of rice, a stock cube, broken up, sprinkled and mixed. Then we've got 1 tin corned beef chopped up. Then we've got 1 tin of Italian chopped tomatoes. Then we've got 1 tin of Heinz baked beans. Then stir that all up together so that we get 1 big pan full of food, hopefully nice and tasty. And basically I've just taken that off the heat. So now what I'll do is cover that and then leave that for around 20 minutes. Let it all just sort of cook up together, and that'll be ready to eat. I'm not super hungry right now, just making sure that I've got enough food for if and when I do get hungry. So here is the finished result. What do you think? Does it look good or not? Either way, I'm going to eat it. You know what? That tasted okay, but I think it could do with more corned beef. Possibly more salt. I think it was slightly more diluted than the last time I made it. In terms of the rice ratio. There's a lot more rice this time. So, gonna add more salt. Stir that up. Hopefully that'll bring out some of the flavours a little bit more. I've eaten 1 bowl full of this food now, and I have managed to measure that distance like I said I would. So very soon I'm going to go out again and do the walk of, what was it, the 4.2 miles. Is it 4.2 miles? Yes, 4.2 miles. Going to go out again and do another 4.2 miles. I am just reviewing the footage from my video yesterday, so probably watch another 5-10 minutes of that and then go out and do another 4.2 miles so I can add that on to today's tally total of exercise, distance walked. Remember, walking is working. Okay, so I've finished around about an hour of yesterday's video, watching it, reviewing the footage. It's been fine so far. I've had 2 bowls of the food that I made. Maybe I even had 3 bowls. Can't quite remember. Anyway. I'm now going to go out again and walk the 4.2 miles so that I can add more distance onto the daily tally that I've just started of how much I have exercised today. What the next tally should also be is, I guess, how much I've eaten, calories. I could track calories, track distance exercised. I don't know. It's all a bunch of ideas, but good ideas. Not only does it give me more content for my YouTube videos, but I'm also actually personally interested in understanding what it is that's going on. And then being able to compare and contrast with other people, and also compete with myself. I have a goal in mind. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Let me just go out. But my goal is basically that I would like to walk to London. Now, I talked to ChatGPT about this. I can't remember exactly what ChatGPT said, but I think the estimate of how long it would take to actually do that is well over a week. More likely to be a couple of weeks. There's lots of independent factors that influence how long it would or could take. Obviously, including walking speed, daily distance, things like that. And that's all sort of dependent upon individual capability. So, what I'm actually really trying to do by starting to measure actually how far I can walk in a day is maybe try and figure out personally exactly how long it would actually take for me to actually walk to London, because it sounds like something that I would really like to do. That would be the kind of challenge I'd really like to take on. I'd basically get up, do a day's walking, however many miles that was, and I'd record a vlog while I was walking. And then each night I would either book a hotel room or somewhere to stay, or just take a tent, camp out and stay in a tent overnight. Either one's a possibility. Obviously the tent is the cheaper option, hotel is the more expensive option, but if I had the money to do it, I'd probably go for the hotel room option, and I could definitely get a good night's sleep, and I could also spend a bit of time in the hotel, read a book to camera in the camera, possibly get some more vlogged content for a hotel room, things like that. There would also be a lot of vlog content to get from camping out, staying in a tent. So it's not the worst idea. it just sounds, you know, slightly more intimidating, I guess, or less comfortable, I suppose. But that would be the idea. I could do it a mixture of the two ways, or I could just do one or the other. I mean, if it works out being a good trip, could even repeat it and do it slightly differently, you know, like one time get a hotel, another time camp out in a tent, just to change it up, just for the sake of having a bit of a different challenge. Just be interesting. So anyway, what I was saying is, basically, now that I know that this journey is like, what is it, 4.2 miles, and I could just repeat that, it's very easy to count up throughout a day exactly the distance that I've gone. So if I start to do this now, over the next couple of weeks, if I try and go out and walk as many times as I possibly can throughout a day, and I keep continuing to push the limit of how far I think I can go, and keep going further and further and further and further and further, I'm going to get a rough idea of exactly how far is comfortably possible for me to walk in a day, and also how far is possibly comfortable for me to walk sort of day after day for a week straight, or for 2 weeks straight, or for even longer. There's nothing stopping me really from doing it every day, and when I would be doing this theoretical walk of you know, where I live now in Lancashire all the way to London, so it'd be Lanky to London, the Great Walk. That'd probably be the title of the vlog. When I would be doing that, it would be literally every single day. Time to get up, okay. Time to get out, okay. Let's get walking, all right. And I need to make sure that all my devices were fully charged. I would likely want to get some like portable charging units that I could carry around. I bought some before, but I couldn't get them to work properly. But if I managed to buy some power banks that actually work, then I would have to recharge those overnight, every night in the hotel room. And that is exactly what I would do. And that might be why it'd be better off, it would be a much better idea to get a hotel room than it would be to camp. Because camping, could be camping anywhere. Don't know if there'll be any electricity or not. Most of the time it's probably no electricity. So then, in that case, I don't know what I would do about charging up the phone and the camera every day, because that would have to be done. I mean, what I'd likely have to do would be spend time going to a cafe, sit there and charge it up. But that is really valuable time that could be spent walking. But then again, if I had power banks, if they were charged up enough, then I could charge the camera and the phone from the power banks overnight, and then recharge the power banks all in one go after a week or after 2 weeks. So I'd need like a 1 week to 2 weeks worth of power all charged up in these power banks, and then have to carry those in a backpack. It's all theoretically possible. It's definitely doable. I definitely could do it if I wanted to. But obviously there's lots of variables to consider that would and could likely affect exactly what it is that I'm doing. But yeah, the one thing to focus on, I think, right now is just to see physically how far can I go on a daily basis, and how far can I go on a daily basis and actually keep that up for a week or 2 weeks or a month straight. I'd like to do 7 days a week, every week, 10-hour days, working / walking. Walking is working. That's what I'd like to do. So that's what I'm doing really right now. Training for the big YouTube video, which is going to be, I am walking to London. Lanky to London. Big long walk. And I think that's going to be a very exciting day when I actually set off to do that. It's going to be very bizarre. It's going to be very interesting. But I'm going to be vlogging all the time from now until then. And I'm going to be vlogging all the time then. When I start the walk, all the way up until when I finish it and I get to London. You know, I could make the entire trip theoretically free. It doesn't cost anything to walk. I would have to get a tent and camping stuff and then carry that. And obviously, walking long distances is one thing, and there's walking long distances whilst carrying a whole load of camping equipment. That's even more exercise. That would be even harder work. So maybe I actually have to train myself to walk whilst carrying all this equipment, because that would be what I'd have to get used to if I was going to do this incredibly long marathon walk that I'm planning to do. It's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. I don't know how many miles it is, but it's in the hundreds of miles. And I'd probably have to walk around about 40 to 50 miles a day in order to be able to do it in a week or 2 weeks. I think ChatGPT estimated that it'd be around 10 days straight of walking 50 miles a day. I don't know if that's correct. I don't know if London's 500 miles away, but it's definitely hundreds of miles away. I should have a look when I get back. I'll check out all the details of the exact distances and everything like that, and then I'll explain to the camera. I asked ChatGPT some of the information. ChatGPT explained basically how long would it take to go that distance, how many miles a day that would be, how many miles a day that would be, how many miles that would be in total, and then the breakdown of how many days that would be, at what pace, doing however many miles I would be doing. I don't know exactly what it would be, I can't exactly remember, but once I get back home I'll look it all up again, and I'll share that information with Cameron the camera. This is my only sort of really big plan right now, apart from obviously I'm selling my house and travelling, everything like that. But it's basically a very similar thing to do, a very similar thing to that. Is the idea is basically just travel as far as I can, as often as I can, as much as I can, and the whole time that I'm doing that, the whole time that I'm travelling, vlog, bring Cameron the camera along, film, vlog footage as I'm walking from one place to the next, and Then basically, during the day, each day, I mean, it'd most likely just be like first thing in the morning, as soon as I get up, leave the hotel room, go out, get some breakfast in whatever local area that I'm in, spend a little bit of time just sort of recuperating from the day before, but then basically get straight back to work, get up, get out and go again for another entire full day. 10 days, 12 days, 10 hours or 12 hours of walking from one town to the next. Then just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Repeat that. So you've managed to escape. So you've managed to escape from all the stupid, idiotic morons that live in that area. Keep moving on to the next area. Then you don't have to deal with these fucking idiots. Just seem to be rampantly around everywhere you go. Moronic, stupid idiots. I don't understand how they seem to be so frequently appearing, like everywhere. Like, but it just seems to be part and parcel of just doing this, basically. Making these YouTube videos, taking on some kind of challenge like that, doing these extended walks for incredibly long periods of time from one place to another, and taking on these marathon challenges. Obviously, along the way, you do come across some idiotic people in all these shitty little towns that you end up going to. They're crappy little places full of morons, but I've got to walk through it in order to get to the next place so that I can carry on what I'm doing, making my YouTube video. So it's part of what I have to do. I have to put up with all these horrible people. I have to put up with all their stupidity. These idiots that give you dirty looks. They're not very nice, they're not very pleasant. It's just part of the job. If you want to make YouTube videos, you have to put up with people who are not very pleasant, not very nice, trying to get involved in some way. I don't know why they feel like they should get involved, or they have a right to get involved, but for whatever reason they do. I don't know why. I think they're just very ill-informed, very stupid, not very interesting people. So they always seem to constantly have to project their ideas about what should or shouldn't happen onto other people. It's all just based on their stupidity. They're not very clever. They haven't experienced much of life. They haven't really been anywhere. They haven't travelled, they haven't experienced pretty much anything. They've lived in these shitty little towns for their entire lives, have the most average, pathetic, boring, crappy life that you could possibly imagine. And it's funny because they think that they know better than people who are actually out there doing something interesting, or actually have a decent life. They think they know better. They're not even happy. They're miserable. They're so miserable. Like, you look at their faces and they're so miserable, so unhappy, so unpleasant to look at. And it's crazy to think that they know better. They think they have the moral authority on life. They think they understand better as to what should or shouldn't be done. Now that is pure ignorance and pure arrogance. How can you be so stupid to think that? You have to be an absolute moron, basically, to even think that you know better. Anyway, I'm heading up the hill now. This is probably about half of that distance that I mentioned earlier. It's not the longest way. I think it's about 4.2 miles straight of walking. I'm not exactly sure what my landmark is at this point. I've got one. but it's not going to be coming up yet. Not anytime soon, as I've got to pretty much double the distance that I've just done before I have come to the full length of this walk, and then I can turn around and head back in a straight line, just go back the other way. That's basically all I'm doing. A straight line up in this direction until I reach the sort of arbitrary point that I've decided to turn around, and then turn around and head back. Whew. So I am struggling, I guess, a tiny little bit with the height of this hill that I'm on right now. It's making it slightly more difficult than it could be, but I'm going to keep pressing on anyway until I reach wherever my landmark was. I need to remember actually what the landmark was. Might just take a little break and look at my phone. Okay, so I've got my landmark now. It's up here. It should be on the left side, so I'll probably see that, but I've got to do about another half a mile to a mile before I get to that one. And then once I get to that one, that's when I can turn around, start heading back the other way, and then I will have added 4.2 miles to my daily distance, which is exactly what I wanted to do. That is my goal. That was my goal. So I will be happy that I have accomplished my goal. Shouldn't be too long now before I get there. I'm trying to think of something else to talk about at this point. I don't know what to. I've got some nice long views. Don't know what's going on down there. I can read them from here. One says Perform Panel. One says James Donaldson Timber. One says Silk Trim. They're really far away. I think there's some kind of like businesses. Don't know what they're doing. This is quite a nice bit of the road. It's quite open, quite spacious, very light at the moment, and I can see in the distance some more of those beautiful pink blossoms on the trees, as well as some other colourful blossoms that are there going on. I feel a little bit stressed out by the extra distance. Not too much. I feel pretty good in myself at the same time. I'm really craving a bottle of Coca-Cola though, to be totally honest. That is exactly what I would like right now. But I don't think I'll be able to buy anything like that for at least 2 days. I think I've got £1.29 left in my bank account. I could get some kind of drink on the way back. There is a shop that will allow you to make purchases on a card, as long as it's over £1. So I should be able to do that on the way back maybe. I don't know if I can get a bottle of Coke for £1.29 or less. Probably not anymore. But I think I'll be able to get kind of Vimto Energy for that. So that'll probably be on the way back. I can do that. It's pretty open out here. I'm a bit tired from all the talking, all the walking, but that is precisely the point of why I'm doing this. Like I said before, it is to try and test myself a little bit, try and push myself a little bit outside of my comfort zone to do something that I'm not entirely sure that I'm actually capable of doing. Now obviously I do have self-belief, but I also realise it would be quite silly and immature to think that I can just go straight towards doing the big long walk all the way to London without some training, which is obviously what I'm doing now. So I've just got to keep doing more and more of that until I get a little bit more comfort in the knowledge that I can actually do the distance. It's not a short distance. It's going to be a really long distance every day. And I'm most definitely not going to be talking to the camera 100% of the time for 10 hours straight whilst I'm doing the daily dose of the walking. I'm most likely going to be putting this thing away for sustained periods of time, but I probably will come out with quite a lot of footage. It's going to be, I'd say, at least an hour a day if I'm doing 10 hours of walking, if not a lot more than that. I might try to actually walk and talk the entire time to find out, can I talk for 10 hours straight while walking down the street on a public road? I'm not sure if I can, but it'd be interesting to try and give it a go and find out. Okay, according to my map, I'm still quite a distance away, which is okay. I've not really come up this way before. I've done a few times, not too many. I remember a couple times walking up here with a few different people that I know, but now, again, I'm doing everything pretty much all by myself. Just me and Cameron the camera. And that's what I'm focusing on more than anything. I don't really want to do this with anybody else. Not that I can think of right now. Can't really think of anyone right now that I'd actually like to do this with, apart from me. I'm the only real person that I can think about that I actually want to do this with. When I say do this, I mean just walking this distance. It is a longer way than I've been before. I mean, it's not a longer way than I've been before. I've walked this length of time before many times, but not while it was just me and Cameron the camera, and it's just me talking to Cameron the camera, trying to think of things to say, trying to come up with ideas of things to say. But you know what, so far it's not been too bad. So far it's been pretty good, pretty pleasant, not unpleasant at all. So far I'm very happy. to be doing this journey, practicing for the big long walk, walking all the way Lanky to London. Now, I have no idea really when I'm actually going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to sort of go into a bit of a training season for a good while. Maybe like 3 to 5 years of training, heading out every day for longer and longer and longer walks and more and more and more and more and more repetitions of the same walks over and over again to build up stamina, to build up strength, to build up speed, to build up ability, to build up a bit of momentum, so that I've got some momentum to carry with me into an even more difficult challenge, an even harder challenge. So I'm going to make the difficult challenge right now much more local. And eventually, when I've calculated all the calculations of the distance from Lancashire to London, and then I've divided that up into days of walking, and I know exactly what I can do in a day, then I'll do a practice run, which will be me walking that exact distance for that exact length of time, but having coordinated that more locally around my local area, just going off for a straight line in one direction, doing half of the day's walking in one direction, turning around and coming back, and then doing that for as many days in a row as it takes to add up to the amount of time that would be spent walking from Lancashire to London. And then once I've done that and I feel comfortable and happy and secure in knowing that I'm able to do that, that I'm capable of doing that, then I can go and do the final big long walk all the way to London. That's exactly what I'm going to do, and that's going to be very exciting, very interesting, very enjoyable. Okay, I've made it. This is the final destination of where I was walking to. What I'm actually going to do, because I don't really know this area very well at all, so I'm just going to have a quick sort of glance around and see if I can see a shop of any kind. If I can see a shop of any kind, that would be a landmark to associate with. Can't see one. Oh well. I would have got in there and seen if there's something I can buy for less than £1.19. But it's okay. I guess now I'm going to turn around and go back. So, the distance that I've just walked there is 2.1 miles. Now, starting from the end point and heading back to the beginning, I'm going to do again another 2.1 miles heading back that way in a straight line until I get back home. That is the plan. It feels really good to have gone all the way there, and now I get the chance to go all the way back. Even better. How awesome is that? What felt so good about walking all this way is that I've never actually walked up this way so far, all the way by myself, ever before. And now, from now on, I'm going to be doing many more journeys like that, where I'm expanding the radius of the area that I know of as being accessible to me on foot. within a short distance, or a short enough distance of my house. And I'm pretty sure by doing that continually on a daily basis, as often as I possibly can, repeating that exact same journey now over and over and over and over again, or other journeys that are similar, going off in different directions, walking and walking and walking and walking. The more and more and more that I do that, the more and more and more I'm going to be able to feel much more comfortable, much more capable, much more able to take on physical challenges. Physical challenges being having to walk for longer distances, having to walk to places that I've never been before, training for the big long walk from Lancashire to London. I'm getting a bit repetitive now. I just saw something on Reddit about a YouTuber who wrote something on Reddit complaining that their channel had been deleted by some sort of AI robot. Some sort of AI robot had deleted their channel, and it said that the reason for the deletion was due to repetitive content. Now, my content can be in some ways repetitive, but you know what? What channel isn't? If you watch Jesse James West, you know what is repetitive about his videos? Every single one of his videos, it's Jesse James West in the video. Every single one of his videos, he's talking about exercise, going to the gym. Of course, everyone's YouTube channel is repetitive. So I don't know by which metrics they measure whether they deem a channel to be repetitive or not. Now, seeing that someone's channel got deleted did start making me think, is my content too repetitive? Am I repeating myself too often? But you know what? If I am, I am. And I've already resided to the fact that if my channel forever, for any reason, gets deleted, that's never gonna stop me from making videos. I'm gonna continue making the videos that I'm making anyway. I'll either just keep them to myself, share them with people in private who want to see them, or move over to a different platform where I'm much less likely to be to have my channel deleted. Now obviously being on YouTube is the best. It's the best place to post video out of all the places that there are to post video. So I'd like to be able to continue to post my videos on YouTube, and hopefully that means they're not too repetitive for the AI systems that are there in place in order to detect repetitive content. However, my video is a daily vlog, and in my daily vlog it does just follow me around doing my daily activities. And if I'm thinking about a lot of the same things, if I'm thinking a lot of the same thoughts, then I'm going to be talking about a lot of the same things. I'm going to be talking about a lot of the same thoughts that I'm having. Obviously. Seems obvious to me. So anyway, the long and short of it is, hopefully my channel doesn't get deleted, but if it does, oh well. I'll deal with it if it happens. There's no point really thinking about that now. All I want to focus on now is making my videos, doing what it is that I'm doing already, and setting myself challenges on a daily basis in order for me to try to accomplish. Sometimes I manage to accomplish the goals that I set for myself. Sometimes I don't. But that is okay. That's not going to stop me from trying to accomplish what it is I want to accomplish. So, walking to London. The question is, why have I decided that I'm walking to London? The reason that I've decided to walk to London is because I want to go to London. And I also like, at this stage in life, the idea of taking on something that sounds, on the surface, incredibly difficult. Now in reality, I don't actually think it's that difficult at all. For anyone who works in a fairly physical job, like I have before, for instance, say, in a warehouse, I've spent the entirety of a 10-hour shift walking about, bending over, lifting things up, moving things around. It's all quite intensive labour for 10 hours straight. Now, I used to do that day after day after day after day, and carry on doing that for months, if not years. So I really feel like if I can do that, if I can work out at that level for such a sustained period of time, then what's the real difference between doing that and walking all the way to London? I would say there's no real difference at all. If you break it up into shifts and say, okay, 10 hours a day, that's what I'm going to do. Do that for about a week and a half, or no, it's somewhere between 10 and 14 days, and that's all you need to do. It doesn't sound that difficult to me, to be honest. It sounds quite easy when you compare it to the previous experience that I've already had and work that I've already done. To me, it sounds like, wow, that's quite doable. Now, maybe I should exaggerate the difficulty of it in order to appear grand or great in some way. Maybe I should make out that it's going to be really difficult. But there is a little part of me that thinks, well, maybe it will be. But there's a little part of me as well, or a big part of me as well, that says, nah, that's not going to be hard. That's going to be fine. Easy. So I actually don't know which of those statements is more accurate. But you know what? There's only one way to really find out, and that's to do it. So yeah, I am planning to do that. Take on an incredibly long walk from Lancashire to London. That's what I'm going to do. But I've got to say, right now, I'm in training. I have to start monitoring my progress. And that means tracking the distance that I've done, writing that down, adding that up and making like a daily total or a weekly total, so that I can see how far I've gone in a week or in a month. And then I'll be able to get an idea of how that correlates to the distance that it takes to go from here to London. I'll have to do all the calculations. I'm going to do that when I get back. Anyway, I can hear the AI robots that detect repetitive activity telling me, you have to change the subject of conversation. You're talking about the same thing too much. So I'm going to change the subject. I'm going to think of something else to talk about. I don't know what, but this is really all I'm really thinking about, is wanting to take on this great challenge and see how it goes. That to me is going to be very exciting. I don't think I'm going to stop talking about it, because that's really what I'm looking forward to more than anything. Another calculation that I'll have to do is, after I've basically figured out how long it's going to take for me to get from here to there, then I'll have to figure out where are the best stops on the way to get a hotel room, to get a good night's sleep, a good night's rest. And then I'll have to calculate the prices of all those hotels, add it up, see what the cost of that will be, and then figure out if / or when it will actually be financially viable for me to do this big long walk that I'm thinking about doing. Okay, so just over half of the way back now. Stopped off at the Tesco, grab one of these, a lemon and lime zero. I didn't have the one that I usually like, which is kind of like Fanta rip-off, Tesco's own Fanta kind of drink. Cost a quid. This cost a quid as well. So that's my last quid gone. Now I'm down to 19p. But it's okay, because it all gets refreshed and rejuvenated in only about 2 days. So I don't have too long to wait, which is good. I've actually made the money last a little bit longer this month, but I didn't have some of the previous costs that I had in other months to keep up with. So that's part of the reason why I've been able to. I've spent a little bit on alcohol this month. I do seem to recall having a few times drinking, and I bought a few bottles of wine, probably slightly more expensive than they should have been. So I think when it comes to payday in 2 days, probably do a bit of an order in, get some stuff delivered, try to get some of the cheaper bottles of wine or bottles of cider or something along those lines, but you know, the cheaper options, not the expensive ones. I've got about another 10 minutes left of this stroll now, and it's good. I've managed to do an extra 4.2 miles, so I can add that onto today's tally. I think that means that so far today I'm up to 5.1 miles, or at least I will be once I get back to the house. Still a bit of a walk to go, but now in comparison to what I've just done, it's only quite a short walk, because I've done a much longer walk in comparison. The good thing now is that I've now got like 2 walks that I can do. So when I go out and I want to go for a walk, I can decide, okay, shall I do the short walk or shall I do the long walk? The long walk is like 4 times the distance of the short walk. I think. Oh no, it's just over double. So the long walk is just over double the short walk. So that means that I've got options. If I just want to go out for a short amount of time and then get back to the house in order to relax and rejuvenate a little bit, then I can do that. Or if I feel like pushing myself a little bit further than that, I can go for the longer option. And then I'll be able to say I can add a much larger number onto the tally, onto the scoreboard, and that's good. That means more points for me. That means I'm winning against myself. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a little bit of a competition with myself in order to just encourage a bit of self-improvement. You know, I'd like to be more physically capable of taking on challenges. So that means I've got to go further distances in order to build up my stamina. I feel like taking some more multivitamins and magnesium when I get back to the house. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take one magnesium pill, one multivitamin pill, and drink that down with some more lemonade. Then I'm going to sit down and relax for a bit. Possibly do like a Casey Neistat style drawing of my London plan. Maybe. God, Chorley really is such a terrible place to live. It's such an awful atmosphere. Anyone with any sense would just move somewhere else straight away. They have a lot of pride in the name of their place. They have a lot of arrogant attitudes around the idea of it. That's why it has to be criticised. No arrogance. Not here, not with me around. Gosh, the people are so stupid, they create such a bad vibe. It really makes this place an awful place to be. Anyone with any sense at all, get up, go, and move somewhere else immediately. They'd go travel, they go see the world. They go live life away from here. This place is awful. I have no idea who thinks this is a good place to live. They have no idea what they're talking about. They really need to go see the rest of the world, understand the rest of the world, see how much better life can be in so many other places, and then they'll understand what I'm talking about. It really is awful, dreadful. There's so many other places where there's so much good vibrations, positive energy. The spirit of positivity is very much alive. Not here. Not with these people. Morons. The understanding that they seem to be lacking specifically is the multi-dimensionality of life that is available, that is readily available all over the world, all around the planet. There are so many different dimensions to life. There are so many different beautiful and brilliant things going on. How can you have no idea about any of that? Well, I'll tell you how. If you were born here, if you have lived here your whole life, and you've never left here, then you know no better. You do not know that there is anything better than this that is available elsewhere in the world, even though there is. So that's why I say, get up, go out, travel, go see some different places, enlighten yourself to the possibilities of what exists out there in the world that is not here, because it's not very good here. It's not very good at all, and the people have no idea what they're talking about. They just talk nonsense. They have no idea what they're talking about. It's because they really need to go and see the rest of the world, see how beautiful it can be. It's much, 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 much better than it is here. It's not very good here. Nobody seems to know that. They think it's alright. Now obviously there's many things that need to be improved when it comes to the environment, such as the quality of the air itself. That's probably the number one thing that could do with some improvement. And there's a lot of people working on that every single day in order to actually improve the quality of the air. That affects the quality of the atmosphere and a better atmosphere and better air quality means healthier people. Healthier people means happier people. Happier people means a far better atmosphere in terms of the general atmosphere of what you see when you walk around in an area. What does it feel like to walk around that area? What does it feel like to be there? Is it nice? Is it good? Do you like it? Is it pleasant? Is it enjoyable? Are the people happy? Are they friendly? Are they kind? Are they thoughtful? Do they show each other respect? Are they polite? Do they care about each other? Are they working on creative endeavours? Are they thoughtful people who are careful and considerate towards their neighbours? Okay, back to base now. Time to add my miles onto the tally. Let's see. Saturday 11th, 0.9 miles times 2. Now I can add 2.1 miles times 2. That means so far today I've done 5.2 miles. Okay, so I managed to review about 1 hour and 24 minutes of 1 hour and 46 minutes of the previous video that I made. Some of which is from today, some of which is from yesterday. But now it has started to rain outside. It was hailing. Now it's sort of turned into rain. So even though I want to go out and add another 1.8 miles onto my day's walking, if I was going to do that, it would mean walking in the rain, which I'm actually totally up for doing, to be honest. It would be good though if I had an umbrella. So I'm going to have a look around the house and see if I do have an umbrella anywhere. I definitely had one at one point, but whenever I get one, I tend to put it down somewhere, leave it there, and then lose it, forget about it. That's happened to me a few times with umbrellas. Can't seem to see one anywhere. So I'm gonna say that I don't have one. Not that I know of anyway. Unless I haven't managed to see it whilst I've been looking. I am gonna have to get used to walking in the rain if I am going to be walking to London. I don't want to get my camera wet, but I suppose if it happens, it happens. As luck would have it, it's actually stopped raining. So, that's great. Very lucky. That means what I'm going to do now is head out again and do another 0.9 miles times 2. So I can add another 1.8 miles onto the daily tally of distance walked. It's currently 2:34 p.m. So I still do have plenty of time in the day to be doing, I would think, several more trips so that I can keep adding more and more miles onto the daily tally. That's all I really want to do. I've been talking about it for ages. Maximise the amount of exercise that I'm doing by going out and walking for more distance every day. That's it. It smells a bit weird out here, maybe because of the rain. It's just stopped a couple of minutes ago. It was hailing at one point. I looked out the window and I was like, that's interesting. Hail. Not seeing you for a while. So I'm just aiming myself towards the hard graft again. More walking, more working, heading straight down the road. 0.9 miles in one direction. Stop, turn around, come back. 0.9 miles in the opposite direction. That is, in total, 1.8 miles. Once I've done that, then I will have walked 7 miles today already. Now, I plan to, after I've done this 1.8 miles, do that exact journey maybe another 3 or 4 times before I go to sleep this evening. So if after this one I'm up to 7 miles, and then I do that another 4 times, that'll be 4 plus 3.2, 7.2. So that'll put me at about 14.2 miles for the day. I'd say that's an okay day. That'd be a good start for the fitness journey. 14.2 miles in a day. But I'd like to double that and then double it again. See if that is possible. But I'll start off with that. I think that's quite a realistic goal to set. 14.2 miles. That's possible. That's not too hard. That's pretty easy. I can do that. It's definitely much easier when the journey itself is broken up into smaller pieces. It's not just simply 14.2 miles in one go in a straight line with no stopping. It's broken up into, 1 mile walk that way, 1 mile walk back. Go back into the house, take a little break, have a look at my computer for a bit, do some of the work that needs to be done. Then, when I'm ready, get back up, go out, do it again. And then just repeat that formula over and over and over and over and over again. Till eventually, who knows what's going to happen? I have no idea. But it will give me, I believe, some sense of fulfillment to know and understand what I'm capable of, and to believe that I can actually do more than that. What I'm really doing is training to be able to walk a marathon. And then once I've trained up my walking to a good enough degree, I'll possibly and probably try to train up my running. Right now, I'm sort of walking at what I'd say is a pretty quick pace. And that's okay for me right now. I push into a run if I feel the sort of spirit take over that leads me to want to really push myself that little bit harder into more of a run. I mean, you could really question what is the difference between a run and a walk, and it's not actually that easy to really say. They're basically the same thing, but one's quicker than the other. But when you look at me, I'm 6'3". My walking speed is probably about the same as a much, much smaller person's jog or even run. So, who's expending more energy? I don't know. But does it really matter? No, not really. What matters really is just my personal goals that I set for myself, and my personal goals that I try to achieve or fulfill for myself. I'm only really doing what I'm doing for me because I want to, and I share it with you because you are the one who watches YouTube. That's it. This walk is itself really doable. When I say doable, I just mean it's quite easy to do without really thinking that it's too stressful or too difficult or anything like that. It's fine. It's 1 mile down that way, then it's 1 mile back. So there's never really too much time to be feeling like you're too far away from comfort or security. It's always like, oh, you know, it's not too far away, so it doesn't seem too hard. Now the secret is to just repeat that process over and over again. Got some strange man across the road saying weirdo alert, don't know who he's talking to. I'm just doing my vlog. He looks like the weirdo, he's just talking to himself. I'm talking to my camera. You're the weirdo. You're the weirdo, mate. Not me, I'm doing a vlog. You're just talking to yourself. You're the weirdo. Yeah? I don't know what's wrong with people. Some people are very strange. Anyway, like I said, probably about 70% of the way through the first mile. Then, got to turn around, come back for the second one. And then, well, I've added on another 2 miles. Well, not 2 miles, but 1.8 miles to the daily total. Can't remember exactly what that puts me up to, but it's good, you know. The only way to improve that number is going to be little by little, doing what you can, adding a little bit on, and then eventually, before you know it, you have gone an incredibly long way without even really realising that you've done it. And that's the way that it should be. What is actually up here, which you might remember from several videos ago, is the late night Tesco that I would come to in order to get the ginger wine. I've not had the ginger wine for a good while. It's good stuff. I would like to get some more of it again. But like I said earlier, I'm going to wait, I think, 2 days until I get paid, and then I can start spending a little bit more again. Okay, so I've done the spin around. Now I'm on the way back. It's been okay so far, not too bad. Just the same usual sort of oddball people who just decide to comment. Not sure why. It's always the ugly ones, funnily enough. Like, very ugly people who are very overweight always seem to be the ones who decide they have something to say. Very odd. Very strange. Maybe they just need somebody to talk to. I guess they've not really got healthy outlets for their feelings and thoughts, so that's how they let it out. Yeah, they're very odd, they're very ugly. It always seems to be the odd ones and the ugly ones that criticise. I suppose it's a lot of the time just jealousy. Someone sees someone that's like the kind of person they would like to be, they get a bit jealous. They go into a bit of a jealous rage. They don't really know how to control themselves. So they just come out with insults. It's funny though, they just make themselves look stupid, really. I'm not quite as prepared as them to make myself look like an idiot. Whereas they seem quite willing and ready to do that. It's kind of like, oh right, okay, you're an idiot. Oh, fair enough. Yeah. They are really, though, very uninteresting. It's not very long before you just go, well, why am I even focusing on this? It's a bit of a waste of time. Some people are actually interesting, worth time. Some people just aren't. It's just a waste of time. What really makes me laugh is the idea that someone would think that anything they have to say, I'm actually going to in some way care about, or it's going to in some way affect me, or bother me, or upset me. First of all, if you're trying to upset somebody, then it's quite evident that you're the one who's not a very nice person. I think that's what we should be judging people on, more than anything. It's like, are you nice? Are you understanding? Are you kind? Are you tolerant? Do you display signs of wisdom or intelligence? But obviously, it takes a stupid person to rush towards judgment. It's not the intelligent people who rush quickly to judgment. Intelligent people take their time to analyse and consider multiple sides of situations in order to understand what is going on and come out with a reasoned opinion or a view on the situation. So all the people that rush towards judgment, I just think, oh, you're a little bit silly, aren't you? You're not very smart, are you? Oh, bless you. Poor thing. Are you upset? You having a paddy? Oh, little baby. Little baby's upset. Oh no. And that's about all the time that is actually really worth giving to them. Not a lot. And then we go back to focusing on, oh yeah, what was I doing that was important? Oh yeah, of course, I'm doing something that's important. Right, okay, yeah. Getting my exercise in. Trying to increase the daily limits of how far I can go. So, I did the first 0.9 miles, turn around, come back. Now I've probably done about 0.6 the other way. So, nearly finished off another 1.8 miles. And I'll be able to add that onto the tally for the day, onto the checklist, onto the checklist. And then tomorrow, do the same thing, and I'll be able to compare that to that. It has started raining again, in quite good time. What I mean by that is, I'm actually already pretty close back to the house now, which is good. That means I'll be able to escape the rain. However, I'm going to have to put the camera away for the last little bit of the journey so that it doesn't get too wet and end up being damaged. I like to preserve and protect this thing as best as I can. That means putting it away when the rain comes out. There was some more, again, very strange people out there again today. People just walking past me and just randomly just saying words. Okay. Yes, you're a weirdo. I'm making a vlog. I'm talking to my camera. I'm doing something productive. They walk past and they just say a random word. Like, right. You think you're doing something because you're not. All you're doing is talking to yourself. I don't know if you think you're talking to me, but you're not talking to me. You're talking to you. And that's a bit weird. I'm talking to my camera for my YouTube video to post on my YouTube channel. You're just talking to nobody, to yourself. And yet you think I'm weird. Like, okay, go have a look at yourself. You're weird, right? I do think there really is a lot of genuinely very seriously depressed, miserable people that seem to be about. And they seem to take out their misery, their depression in strange ways, instead of dealing with it in sort of healthy, productive, ways. It is another large part of what contributes to the incredibly unpleasant atmosphere that seems to be constantly around. Anyway, I've got to go back to my video. But not before adding another 0.9 miles times 2, which brings our daily total up to 4.2 add 1.8. Hang on. 1.8, 4.2, 1.8. So far we're on 3.6, 7.8. That's what we're on. 7.8 miles walked so far today. I would like to increase that again. It is now only 3:05 p.m. So I could do that exact trip probably another 4 or 5 times. So many stupid people, so many sad people, so many negative people not dealing with their emotions in a good way, a healthy way, a positive way, like they should be, like they could be. There's so many good ways to take your negativity and to turn it into something positive. If only those people that were out there doing what they're doing knew that, then they would feel and think so much better than they do. Okay, I finally finished watching that video. Now it's exporting. Vlog 94, duration 1 hour 46 minutes 15 seconds. Size 6.2 gigabytes estimated. Resolution 1080p. Bitrate recommended. Codec H.264. Format MP4. Color space Rec 709 SDR. Frame rate 30 frames per second. And it's currently at 33.2%. I don't know how long it'll take to export, but I just do that. Leave it for a while. And then eventually, when it's finished, it makes a noise. And that alerts me to realise that it is done. I've got to brush my teeth. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is take a bin bag out, throw it in the bin, and then head back out again for another 1.8 miles. Can't really be bothered to do this again, to be honest, but I am going to do it. It just means having to put up with all these odd people again, just randomly saying things. Stupid people. Randomly just saying things like shushing at. What the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. It's so weird. There's a lot of these strange, idiotic, weird people around. Just randomly saying things. I don't understand it. Very odd, very weird. Strange people. There seems to be lots of them. Keep coming across them all day, every day. Random, strange, weird, freaky, idiotic people just saying random things as they walk around. Very odd, very strange. Odd, weird people. Strange. I'm going to do the exact same route that I did before. It's not very interesting. It's just a straight line. One way up, one way back. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's getting a bit boring. It's getting a bit repetitive, to be honest. But I'm really trying to train myself, train my cardiovascular endurance, train my fitness levels so that I'm far more capable of doing what it is that I want to do. I do realise that it's going to make for very long videos, but I'm not really sure what to do about that apart from just make very long videos. I realise that basically I just talk and talk and talk. Eventually I kind of run out of things to say, and then I don't really film quite as much. So I don't really try and stop myself from talking. I really just keep saying as much as I can until eventually there's nothing left. I think that's the best way to do it for me. So when it comes out to be a really long video today, then that's just the way it is. Expect lots more long videos. If they basically just come out however long they do. Sometimes they're a bit shorter, sometimes they're a bit longer. That's not because of any sort of contrived effort that I'm actually trying to make in order to come out with a video that's a certain length. It just comes out as long as it does, depending on how much I really feel like talking. If I've not got a lot to say, then it's not a very long video. But if I have a lot to say, then it's usually a lot longer. I'm not trying to make videos of a specific length in particular. It just so happens to be the length that it is. And now I am just repeating myself, aren't I? Oh yeah, what I was going to try and say was basically at one point I did start thinking, right, okay, if I come out with like a 4-hour long video, then I suppose I could split that up into shorter pieces and then upload those all separately for people to watch. But really, if they want to watch the full length thing, it's there available, whether it's there in 4 parts, whether it's there in one long piece. So it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I don't think it matters personally. So it just comes out the way that it does. And like I said, I mean, a couple of weeks ago I ended up with like a video that was like 1 minute or something, because I really just didn't feel like talking that day, so I didn't end up saying anything. So it is all really very much dependent upon whether I actually have anything to say. If I do, I say a lot more, and if I don't have quite as much to say, then you'll see a much shorter video that comes out from that day. This walk is really not very interesting at all. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot in terms of like good vibes or anything like that. It's pretty uninteresting. I do get pretty bored just doing it. Now, it kind of makes it slightly more interesting when I've got camera and the camera to talk to. That keeps the interest levels ever so slightly higher than when I'm just walking. I mean, that's not interesting at all, is it? Walking. Just walking. That's not interesting. But walking and talking and working, now that's quite interesting. Mix those all together, and what have you got? Walking, talking, working. I made up a little song a couple of days ago, just made up of those 3 words: walking, talking, working, just like that on repeat. And that was quite fun. I think because it was sunny, I was also going like, I think it was like fun, sun, walking, talking, working. And yeah, if it's not fun, walking and talking and YouTubing, if it wasn't fun, then I wouldn't really want to do it. The only reason I want to do it is because it's fun. Now, sometimes I will do it if it's not that fun, just because I'm trying to get in the habit of actually producing content for my YouTube channel on a regular basis, every day. So that's why I do it a lot of the time, is just as a practice. If you're practicing a skill that you're trying to become better at, you have to put a bit of time and effort into that skill. Spending a bit of energy, taking time to actually try and get better at that. Obviously, YouTube is basically just public speaking to a camera. That's all it really is. At least for me it is, for my YouTube videos. Lots of people have different YouTube videos and different styles and everything, but what makes up the majority of my content is just me talking to camera and the camera. And that's about it. That's what I like to do. It's nice to just have someone to talk to, and then to be able to actually take that footage from the video and to be able to share it online so that other people can hear what I have to say, so other people can listen, so other people can watch. That's another part of the process. That's great. That's not why I'm doing it, really. I'm doing it so I have a record of all these experiences that I've had that I can look back on in like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years and say whatever I have to say, looking back at it, thinking about what's happened. I mean, it's just like having a record of life being lived. That's great. I'd like to have more records of life being lived, my life anyway. And I'm quite happy to share all of what's going on in my world with the YouTube audience. They are welcome to watch. You are welcome to watch. Everybody's welcome to watch. They're also welcome to comment, but if I get any kind of comment that's not very nice, then that person will pretty much instantly be blocked from commenting on the channel, and they will therefore not be able to comment anymore in the future. Well, they will be able to post a comment, and they'll see it as if it's been posted for them, but I won't see it, no one else will see it, so it'll be basically pointless to really comment your comment. You'll just be talking to yourself, and what's the point in that? Now, if you want to do that just to sort of feel good about yourself, you can do it, but fair enough. Like, a lot of people just see those negative comments and are like, right, okay. Like, it says a lot about you when you comment like that, you know. A very strange woman in the distance who seems to be a bit obsessed with me. Seems like she's following me. I'm not sure if she is. Maybe I should go and confront her. I'm nearly reached now the end of the walk. Up this way. Then that's where I'm going to spin around, head back the opposite way. Okay, done the spin around, headed back the other way, and it looks like she's not following me anymore. She seems to be paying attention to me, and she kept like just randomly just saying words in my direction. And I was like, fuck, what is wrong with you? Very weird. Odd woman, strange woman, very strange woman, very odd. So now, everything that I've just done, I'm going to do it again, but going the opposite way. Fun, fun, fun. And it is raining now, again. Which is great, obviously. I love the rain, everyone loves the rain. It's great. Everyone gets so happy when it rains. Like, hooray, it's raining. It's good, isn't it? The stupid people. The stupid people though. But the stupid people are stupid, so I'm not going to listen to what they have to say. Like, you're stupid. I'm not going to listen to you. Why would I do that? I don't listen to the stupid people. All the stupid people are just so stupid. It would be great if they just fuck off somewhere else and leave all the people who actually have a modicum of intelligence to live their lives unaffected by their stupidity. Will they do that? No, probably not. Why? Because they're stupid. They're too stupid. Stupid people tend to have no social mobility whatsoever. They don't have the ability to go anywhere else. They don't have the ability to move. They don't have the ability to see the world because no one will give them opportunities. Why? Because they're so stupid. It's a self-defeating thing. So until they actually educate themselves and try to make the effort to smarten up and actually become smarter, more intelligent, then they won't be able to go anywhere. When they become more intelligent and there are more opportunities available, and then that will mean they may be able to go and see more life, more of the world around them. But until then, they will simply be known as the stupid people who cannot do anything because they're too stupid. See the way that I'm saying that? It doesn't sound very good, does it? It's not very good. It's absolutely awful. They spend all their time wasting their energy on trying to make things happen. But nothing happens. They get no results. And they just go around in circles, repeating themselves until they give up. And then eventually they go somewhere else. They change their lives. They find a new pattern, they find a new habit, and then they start again. Slightly less stupid than they were before. And that's the good news, really. It takes a really long time to become not quite as stupid as you currently are. But it takes a lot of work as well. It takes a lot of repeating yourself. It takes a lot of working constantly on a repetitive task until you gain enough focus internally to be able to actually concentrate your mind enough to actually have the ability to focus on, for instance, a single word on a page of a book and then start to read one word after the other. Start reading the page, finish the page, get onto the next page, read that page, get onto the next page, read that page, get onto the next page, read that page. Then it's 10 pages, 20 pages, 50 pages, 100 pages, 500 pages. Then you finished one book. Then it's one book, 5 books, 10 books, 50 books, 100 books. When you get to 100 books, now you are one tiny fraction of a percentage more intelligent than you were before those 100 books. That is how fast of a process this is to get from stupid to smart to intelligent. It can happen really quickly when you have developed the focus, because your intelligence is something that is apparent, meaning you appear to be stupid, but you're not. You can become intelligent rather quickly if you have actually developed your focus. But you have to develop your focus. The only way to develop your focus is concentrate on one thing, repeat yourself over and over again, something like reading a book. If you can't do that, you're stupid. And you need to zoom in, focus in, actually use your attention span, which you clearly don't have because you're thick, and then start to read one word at a time. Just focus on one word. That's it. Read that one word. Okay, read the next word. Read the next word. Read the next word. Read the next word. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Before you know it, that's one book finished. How long does that take? Days, weeks, or months? If it's days, how many days? If it's weeks, how many weeks? If it's months, how many months? That's a good place to start if you are trying to develop your intelligence. If you're not developing your intelligence, then you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay where you are. You have no future ahead of you. You have nothing to go towards. The reason why is because you need to develop your intelligence in order to be able to get into the positions that are available for people to offer to you, for you then to be able to actually get the funds, the money necessary to then have the social mobility to start going where you want to go. And you have to go somewhere soon, very soon, because you've got to go see the world. You've got to go broaden your horizons, broaden your perspectives, see the way that things are somewhere else, where it is so much better than where it is now. Where you are right now is not very good. So you have to know that, see that, understand that, and decide, I am going to go away from here, where I am now, to a better place. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is if I start to develop my intelligence so that I get a broader and more reasonable understanding of what it is that I know about different areas of interest. Then I can apply that in a way to get some kind of work. And then once you get some kind of work, you can start making money. Once you start making money, that's when you can do something good with your time. But you've got to have money. So if you want money and you want to go somewhere, you should focus on trying to develop your intelligence. Start reading. Start studying. Start watching YouTube videos about something that you have an interest in. And then, most importantly, start the creative process. Start trying to create something original of your own that you can put your own stamp on and say, that was me, I made that. Now you have something to show to people, to say, here's what I do, here's who I am, here's how I am. You have something to show, you have something to share. That's the beginning of the basis of how you network and create opportunities for yourself in terms of increasing your business potential, increasing your personal finances, increasing your ability to find work, and increasing, therefore, your personal freedoms, your ability to travel, your ability to go to different places, your ability to see different things that you would like to see, to do different things that you would like to do. If you want to see different things that you would like to see and do different things that you would like to do, you've got to be making money. How else are you going to do things that you want to do without money? how else are you going to see things that you want to see without money? Now, there are certain things that you can do in life that are free, yes, but many of them require money for you to pay, for you to be able to go and do what it is that you want to do. So, as a priority, as a focus, you should place at number one, wanting to make money. You've got to take care of yourself, you've got to be secure, take care of personal finances, and then you can go where you want to go. But it will be a step-by-step procedure, meaning one thing at a time, one thing leads to another. Eventually it will happen the way that you like it to happen. But if you're not able to make it happen right now, take some time out, focus on developing your intelligence. You have the ability to access as many books as you need. Everywhere you go, anywhere you go, there's a local library. You can go down to your local library, have a look through their books, pick out some books that you have an interest in, start reading, start studying, start picking up bits and pieces of information, start educating yourself, start informing yourself. The more knowledge you have, the more information that you have to share, the more possibility you have a likelihood of being able to get into a position where you can get a high-paying role in a job, working, doing something you love, or create a business opportunity for yourself that is independent from other people, not working for anybody else but yourself, self-employed, but still making money. And whether you say it or not, whether you admit it or not, you do want to make money. Everybody wants to make money. If you have no money, you will realise how much you want money, how much you need money. And it's easy to forget that when you have it. But when you don't have it, it will be all you think about all day, every day. If only I had some more money. Okay, just got back in the house and I'm gonna make another bowl of this food. I say make, I'm just gonna pour out another bowl of food. Same food that I made before: corned beef, rice, beans, chopped tomatoes, stock. And I can add onto the tally another 0.9 miles times 2, 1.8. Hello, welcome back to another video. And that brings our total to 4 plus 3 is 7. 7.8, 8.6, 8.8, 9.6. 9.6 miles walked so far today. And it is just after 4 p.m. I still have another 4 hours or so before I start to think about falling asleep. Maybe even more than that. So realistically, I could go out and do that another 4 times. I don't know if I will. We'll see. I'm going to sit in for a little bit. I don't know when I'm going to be reviewing this video that I'm making now. Probably much later this evening. Probably at least 4 hours. Maybe after a sleep. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow morning. I don't know. What I really don't want to do now is allow myself to become depressed, to get down, or to lose my motivation to do what it is that I want to do. And I would really like to achieve my goal, which would be to get out another 4 times again today for another 1.8 miles 4 times over. That would add on another 7.2 miles to the total for today, which would be quite a significant addition to what I've already done. Then I would be closer to 20 miles than I would be to 10. That would be quite a successful achievement to have actually been able to do. And I would be very happy to say that I've done close to 20 miles in a day. A marathon is just over 26 miles. I always thought that seemed like an incredibly long distance. And I thought it'd be basically impossible for me to get anywhere near having the ability to actually do that. But now, as I start to think about things more clearly on my fitness journey, I do think I've actually realised that it's probably much more realistic than I actually thought before. I do actually reckon that it would be, or could be, much more possible for me to actually achieve the goal of running a marathon. Now, I'm not really a runner, I'm much more of a walker. I can run if prompted to do so, but usually only if a threat appears, which means that I have to. Otherwise, I just don't really see the point. I will start running very soon, I can see it happening quite clearly. But right now, I just like walking and talking to camera in the camera, and working on my YouTube video. That's what I like to do right now. That might change in the future. I'm sure it will. It always does. It always changes. All the time. Changing and changing and changing and changing and changing again. And then changing and changing and changing and changing and changing again. And then it changes. And then it changes. And then it changes again. And then it changes. And then it changes again. And then it changes. And after it changes, it starts changing. And then when it's changing, it changes whilst it's changing. And then it changes from the change that changed. And then it changes and changes and changes and changes until it's changed into a changing change. Isn't that strange? And that's the way the world works, as far as I'm concerned. Everything is like that, including you. You will not stay the same as you are now. Now I'm going to tell you the story of what happened in 1632. 1632 was a leap year starting on Thursday of the Gregorian calendar, and a leap year starting on Sunday of the Julian calendar. The 1632nd year of the Common Era CE and Anno Domini AD designations. The 632nd year of the second millennium. The 32nd year of the 17th century. And the third year of the 1630s decade. As of the start of 1632, the Gregorian calendar was 10 days ahead of the Julian calendar, which remained in localized use up until 1923. Events: January to March. January 8th, University of Amsterdam is established at the site of the Athenaeum Illustre of Amsterdam. Okay, I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching. See you again on the next one. Peace.